Hi everyone, this is Amateur Gamer. The solo Pokemon run is back and Beedrill is ready to take on the challenge. I will admit that initially I wasn't very optimistic about Beedrill. I wasn't expecting it to stand much chance against the likes of Butterfree. Once I had the chance to study what moves it had, I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect Beedrill to be a monster, but it might perform decently. Time will tell, but unlike Butterfree, Beedrill actually has a solid stab move that can be devastating later on. The stats of Beedrill were surprising. I had expected it to boast strong attack and defense at the cost of its special stats, like the opposite of Butterfree. Instead, it has amazing attack and special defense. Don't ask me how that works. This combination actually works in Beedrill's favor as special moves tend to be more dangerous like Psychic and Fire type moves. Unlike Butterfree, Beedrill starts with Fury attack, which is terrible. 85% accuracy in the early game is very painful. I then see level up moves like Twin Needle, Rage, Pursuit, and Pin Missile, and shook my head. The moveset made me quickly look at the TMs and HMs hoping for something good. Sludge Bomb is a stab move that will be incredible. Except for the fact that it's obtained very late, so I won't have access to it for most of this run. The good news is that Beedrill can learn Swift, so after Falconer I can get a decent move. Otherwise, I will be using Return as the limited move pool forces me to take advantage of this powerful move, especially with Beedrill's high attack. The difference between Beedrill and Butterfree in the early game is literally night and day. Butterfree can crush most opponents easily with confusion. Fury attack is bad enough that I decided that I needed to grind because I have so little confidence in Beedrill winning against my rival. I didn't fight my rival until level 11. Yes, that's how little confidence I had in the early game. When the rival fight finally happened, my grinding didn't go to waste. Just like the Butterfree run, I needed all the experience I can get, so I fought all the trainers to cut down on the grinding later on. However, there was a slight problem with that plan due to how bad Fury attack was. To show how bad it was, I chose Struggle over it. Yes, I used all the PP points of Fury attack so I can use Struggle against Falconer. I had to do so before level 15 because I don't want to spend forever using up the PP points of Focus Energy. Struggle and a Hell Berry secure the victory. Now, time to get Swift. How good is Swift? For my Beedrill is the most powerful move it will get for a long time. Swift Hell mowed through Bugsy's team with relative ease. My next rival fight was a bit more complicated due to Ghastly being immune to Swift. I had to resort to Twin Needle and made Beedrill hold a paralyzed Cure Berry to counter Ghastly's lick. Then Swift dealt with Quilava and Zubat. Here, Beedrill's decent special defense helped to take those embers quite well. I challenged Whitney when Beedrill was level 29, one level lower than Butterfree. The difference was the damage I could inflict. Remember when I scoffed at Twin Needle? Well, it one-shotted Clefairy and only needed 3 hits to take out Miltank. Rollout not being 4 times super effective also helped here. Thankfully, I didn't need a lot of luck for this fight. I started wondering if I underestimated Beedrill. My next rival fight showcased the problem with Beedrill. While I did have Pursuit, a dark type move that's super effective against Ghosts, it's only 40 base power and Beedrill's special attack is less than stellar. Most of the damage taken in this rival fight were from Haunter's Curse. After some grinding, I decided to take on Morty with Beedrill at level 37. Beedrill got quite lucky here in this fight. After defeating Ghastly, it dodged 2 Hypnosis, one from Haunter and another from Gengar, while the Mint Berry dealt with the only Hypnosis that hit. The last Haunter used Spite, so Beedrill defeated Morty without taking any damage. Unlike my other runs, I actually headed for the Rocket Hideout after beating Morty. Once again, the Rockets weren't much of a threat as Beedrill defeated them soundly. Why did I decide to head here first? After beating the Rockets, you can go north to a guardhouse where the Rockets were charging a toll while they were in power. Once they are defeated, the guard will give you the TM for Sludge Bomb, which I absolutely want on Beedrill. This is a stab 90 base power move that will be amazing for a lot of the upcoming fights. How good is Sludge Bomb? It was strong enough to one-shot Dugong, which has proven to be quite bulky against my Pokemon. Despite being not very effective, it almost two-shotted Piloswine. Overall, it's a much needed boost as I'm trying to avoid return if possible. Sludge Bomb got me through Chuck pretty quickly too, so I can finally get Fly to move around quicker. Then we have Jasmine. Since Steel type is immune to poison, I can't use Sludge Bomb. This forced me to use returns as I need a move that hits harder than Swift. My first attempt at level 48 failed, so I went grinding. When Beedrill was level 52, I took on Jasmine again. At this level, Return can one-shot Magnemite, so I eliminate the threat of two foes. I have Beedrill hold King's Rock for a small chance to flinch. After the third attempt, I came up with a strategy of going Twin Needle first. Twin Needle is, to my knowledge, one of the few, if not only, ways of making Steel type poisoned. The poison and Steel missing a bunch of Iron Tails helped me secure the win. I'll take it, as it felt like an interesting way to beat a tough opponent. Unlike Jasmine, Claire didn't pose a threat at all. Sludge Bomb one-shotted her Dragonairs while one Sludge Bomb left Kingdra with literally a sliver of health. To make it pay for what I suffered in the past, I used Twin Needle to knock the Kingdra out. As for my fight against my rival before the Elite Four, Beedrill could one-shot Sneasel, Golbat, Typhlosion, and Kadabra. Magneton can be countered with a Paralyzed Cure Berry, while Haunter posed no real threat when it was the second last Pokemon my rival sent out. Time to fight the Elite Four. As usual, I decided to take on the Elite Four to gauge where my Pokemon is at, so I know roughly how much grinding I need. I used Twin Needle against the first Xatu and Beedrill took a beating as a result. Sludge Bomb was indeed a better choice as it knocked out the second Xatu in one hit. I used Return on Jinx to preserve the PV points of Sludge Bomb, knowing it has lower defense. Executor wasn't going to survive a 4-time super effective Twin Needle, and Slowbro didn't handle one Twin Needle very well either. Like the Butterfree run, Koga's main threat was Fortress, who I had to brute force through. Bad luck can end it here, but for this first attempt, I got through it no problem. The fight with Bruno was a lot closer, and that was mostly an error on my part. I used Pursue when Sludge Bomb was likely a better choice against Onix. I literally was one turn away from losing, so we are cutting it close there. However, a win is still a win. Next, I faced Karen. Remember how I always talk about how annoying her Umbreon is? Twin Needle one-shotted it, so I won't have to complain about its sand attack. The rest of her team weren't a problem except for Gengar, who had no quick solution. Lick and Paralysis were annoying, but I still squeaked out the victory at the end. I'll admit that I wasn't so confident going into this last fight. This was my first attempt, and the results of some of my Elite Four fights made me wonder how far I can go. Regardless, I was going to at least try and see where this takes me. I first gave Beedrill a Paralyzed Cure Berry in anticipation of the Thunder Waves. Then I headed into this fight not expecting much. I was pleasantly surprised when Gyarados fell to a single Sludge Bomb. Aerodactyl survived one Sludge Bomb and removed almost half of Beedrill's health. Things were getting tense as I doubt this was enough health to outlast the Dragonites. Charizard stood no chance while the first Dragonite used Safeguard. That means I have 2 Dragonites left. The next one used Thunder Wave and the berry was used up. The last one used a Hyper Beam and I thought my run was over. Somehow, Beedrill survived that final attack and finished the Dragonite to get the win. Defying my expectations, Beedrill had defeated Lance on his very first attempt. I thought Beedrill was worse than Butterfree. I was partially right as the early game was quite different. Fury attack was terrible and I had to rely on struggle to beat Falconer. Once I had better moves like Sludge Bomb, that's when Beedrill started destroying all competitions. Only the Ghastly line was a problem, but thankfully I didn't have to face too many of them. The incredible attack made Beedrill an absolute beast at the end there. Lance made some poor choices in moves, but none of this diminishes the beast of a Pokemon Beedrill is. I even made use of Twin Needle, which I have new respect for. This was another fun run, and I will say that Beedrill has outperformed Butterfree here. That's it for the video. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and maybe even subscribe. Thank you.